one of the things that I remember when I, used to have like a lot of employees when I did management, I remember like you have 2 unpaid, uninterrupted 10-minute breaks in an 8-hour shift. That was a requirement for California law at the time. So they would go on their 10-minute break and do whatever and get a drink or whatever. And then they would come back from their 10-minute break and go use the restroom on the clock.
Yes.
And I remember when I talked to this one, and this one girl would do it all the time. I was like, hey, just so you know, like your 10-minute break is to use the restroom, is to do the stuff, And she looked at me like she was like 16. She was so offended. And I was like, look, you're looking at me like I'm telling you that you can't use the restroom. That is not the case. You're absolutely allowed to use the restroom. You filled out your information. If you have anything that requires accommodations, like if you have a bladder problem or something that, if you don't have to disclose the medical condition, but if you have any condition that requires accommodations, we're legally obligated to give them to you. But you don't have one. You're just using your 10-minute break to go do the stuff and then coming back to do it on the clock. It's like doing your makeup on the clock. You're not supposed to do that. That's my 2 cents.
No, I look at it is definitely a different generation. It's definitely a different way of looking at things. And I always hear how you have to make accommodations just for the way the millennials or what are they, Gen Zers, how they think. And I'm going, why? I'm the employer.
Right. I write the paycheck.
Paycheck. I'm giving you a decent, whether you believe it or not, I'm giving you a decent paycheck every week. And why am I always having to trip over myself to make you comfortable doing your job? That means if I've got 30 employees, I may have 20 different accommodations I have to make. If I've got to worry about what you think, what you like, don't like, how loud the music, how low the music is, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I think that's why it's so important, though, even for small businesses, to have a company policy. Mm-hmm. Something that they can always reference back to and say, hey, like this is the company policy, this was the handbook, these are the regulations, and of course, medical accommodations will be given. Like accommodations will be given that are legally required, but your freaking feelings aren't one of them. Your feelings aren't one of them.
When I had the computer company out here, Wildcat, years ago. My first experience, I guess, with a millennial probably was I asked him to come to the office. I needed to talk to him about a call that he did, and he came in and he had his phone in his hand, and I'm talking to him, and he kept doing this, and he'd look up at me and go,
"That's annoying."
I'm talking to you. He goes, "Well, yeah, I can do both." I said, "I don't want you to do both. I want you to look at me so there's no confusion when you walk into my office as to what I need you to do." And it happened 2 more times.
With the same kid?
Same kid, same morning. I said, obviously, true story. I said, obviously, I don't know how to communicate with you, so I think we should end our relationship. And I let him go that day because what kind of disrespect? I mean, the level of disrespect, don't you agree?
Yeah, I agree. Especially because, look, for some reason, sometimes they don't know. But if you pointed it out one time in that conversation and you're talking, how old was he?
At the time, he was probably early 20s.
Okay, absolutely. I was giving him some grace because I thought he was like 16. No, absolutely not. If you are a freaking adult, you absolutely, one time. I'm going to tell you one time not to freaking be on your phone when we talk. One time. If I have to tell you more than once at 18, I'm going to be telling you more than once about everything. The entire time we work together. So it's not going to work.
No.
Do you remember what we were talking about yesterday? About
tell me what. No, I'll pull it up.
Do you remember anything we were talking about yesterday?
I remember yesterday.